Today on CCX News, rising to the challenge. How Brooklyn Center's new police chief sees his role and what he wants police skeptics to know. One of the longest tenured members of the Brooklyn Center Police Department is stepping into the role of chief. Reporter Kevin Miller explains how he plans to rebuild community trust and address challenges facing the department.
I believe policing is a noble profession.
At the Brooklyn Center Police Department, Garrett Flesland has walked these halls for 23 years with a sense of pride.
I became a police officer because I wanted to make a positive impact on the community.
But he never thought he'd wear the chief's badge.
Growing up through my career in law enforcement, I never had a desire for a specific title or any kind of specific role.
But now he's left the old commander's office, and his door reads Chief of Police.
I think my time here at the department has given me some decent insight into the challenges that we face as a community, but then also the opportunities for growth that we have as a department.
While he's settling into his new office, he's also looking to get out and meet the community.
We're going to build on the foundation with community engagement. We are going to do the traditional engagement opportunities. We're going to be back at the farmers market. We're going to have cones with cops. What I'm going to push my staff and what I'm going to push myself to do is find those areas in the community where law enforcement has not typically been.
His roots are local. He grew up in Brooklyn Park and he graduated from Park Center High School. But it was the U.S. Navy that cemented his life in public service.
I will forever be grateful for my time in the Navy, and I think that kind of established that foundational inner calling, satisfaction with service that propels me.
He's stepping in as chief about 6 months after Kellis McDaniel retired. McDaniel was hired in the difficult aftermath of the Daunte Wright shooting. For a time, staffing levels dropped at the police department. But now, with 39 of 50 spots filled, Flesland is hoping to keep morale high.
Morale can be a tricky thing. Morale can be an individual thing also. Don't dwell on the negativity. Find something you can do to make things better and then make it better.
And he reminds his staff every day that they can make a difference.
Let's focus on what we can influence, give it 110%, and I think we're going to be incredibly surprised at what they're going to be able to do.
In Brooklyn Center, Kevin Miller, CCX News.
A prominent restaurant space in Maple Grove that's been vacant for more than a year will soon have a new tenant. The former Wahlburgers at the corner of Elm Creek Boulevard and Hemlock Lane will become a new restaurant called Grackle. The restaurant's Facebook page says Grackle is a family-owned business that will feature a scratch kitchen and craft cocktail bar. They hope to open later this summer. The family also owns Marge's Kitchen and Cocktails in Andover. Young Twins fans got a home run of a deal in Brooklyn Park this morning. The Twins fantasy camp at Todd Anderson Field allowed kids with physical and intellectual disabilities to try softball. They played on the only wheelchair softball field in the state, the perfect place for a game of adaptive softball.
It's a great way for them to be able to come together, participate with peers that are like them, who may need some additional supports as well, and just be able to have fun. That is their main purpose with our programs.
The adaptive clinic is put on by Brooklyn Park, the Minnesota Twins, and the Courage Kenny Rehabilitation Institute. Together, they're making play possible for more kids.
One of the things about adaptive sports is that everybody deserves to play. We all know that team sports and activities are just so important to our mental health and well-being.
The Twins also donated Courage Kenny 16 youth sport wheelchairs to lend to kids in the community. Coming up this weekend, a chance to learn more about a unique part of Minnesota heritage. In today's Weekend Showcase, reporter Emily Haugen takes us inside the Pierre Bottineau house to preview Bridging Two Worlds in Maple Grove.
As a guide, he had specific skill sets.
Tucked away in Elm Creek Park Reserve.
This really kind of talks about the world that Pierre Bottineau comes from.
A piece of Maple Grove's history.
As he was engaged in the fur trade, was kind of helping to find our way throughout the country.
The Pierre Bottineau house has seen many addresses since it was built in the 1850s.
Pierre is one of those people that without a place, maybe you would disappear if it was just an avenue named after him.
Many have seen the house alongside the trail, or at its previous spots. but not many people notice it like this.
The early fur trade was really focused in on the beaver pelts being turned into gentlemen's top hats.
A Three Rivers Park event is offering a chance to step into this Maple Grove settler's house and back into time.
He was one of the first kind of genesises of Osseo in the Maple Grove area.
It's where historical interpreter Mike Murray hopes people take the time to learn about the Métis.
Such a part of our story, that blending of cultures.
Murray says the Métis are a people who are both Indigenous and European. Pierre Bottineau was one of them.
Settlers of European or African descent that are coming into the area, and then you have people of Native descent, of Dakota or Ojibwe or Cree, that are the people who had been here and that were engaged in the trade.
Historical interpreter Joel Brown is bringing the story of George Bonga, another Métis Minnesotan, to Elm Creek this weekend. Murray says these stories help teach us more about ourselves.
You need to know who you are to understand who the state is and who we are as a people.
In Maple Grove, Emily Haugen, CCX News.
A ticket is required for Saturday's event. It starts at Elm Creek Nature Center at 1 that afternoon with a visit to the Pierre Bottineau House after. You can reserve your spot on Three Rivers website. Park Center's high school class of 2024 has students from 14 different birth countries and sovereign nations, not including the United States. Today we hear how this diverse class inspires us all.
Don't let your obstacles define what you can't do. Instead, let your obstacles empower you to make this world a better place. Opportunities are standing right in front of us, right in front of you. Grab them.
Through it all, we won't be all sunshines and rainbows, but I am confident that each one of us here today will add to the greater, larger story of the world. And I cannot wait to see what we will all accomplish when we leave this arena today.
The Wayzata baseball team cruised into this week with a perfect 24-0 record. But the state's top-ranked team got a real test in their first state tournament game.
Great day for baseball Thursday for the Class 4A quarterfinals as the top-seeded Trojans face St. Cloud. Bottom of the second inning of a scoreless game, Wayzata's Kieran Leatherman rips a single into left field. Adam Deselich and Elias Leitz both score, and it's 2-0. Two batters later, and Tyler Gullickson drives one the other way into the gap in left center field. Leatherman scores, and Gullickson's double. It's 3-0 Wayzata after two. But St. Cloud chips away. Trailing 3-1 in the fourth inning, Drew Leisure hits a ball to deep center field that Leatherman loses in the sun. It falls for a triple. Two-run score on the hit by Leisure, and the Crush have tied the game. They'd add a run-scoring single in the inning to go ahead 4-3. Wayzata comes back. After tying the game in the fourth, James Hansen in the fifth inning singles up the middle. Kyle Boutwell and Deselich both score, and Hansen's two-run single. Trojans are back in front at 6-4. 6-5 in the top of the seventh when Wayzata's Brady Lash strikes out Leisure to end the game to earn his fourth save of the season and send the Trojans into Friday afternoon's 4A semifinals against Boundsview.
In the Class 3A state baseball tournament, the top seed is a familiar one. Benilde-St. Margaret is making their third straight state tournament appearance. They opened up the tourney with a thriller at Chaska Athletic Park.
A combined 13 state tournament appearances between Benilde-St. Margaret's and St. Thomas Academy. Bottom one, the Red Knights get the bats going. Charlie Gearin finds the gap in right center. Good for an RBI double. Caleb Koski crosses home to make it 1-0. BSM was looking for some more runs in the first. Jack Anderson looks like he's got something, but Michael Stavseth with a robbery you don't see every day. That prevented a two-run home run. Great extension and snatch from the senior. Third inning STA with some production at the plate. Edwin Gray, ball gets the outfield. The Cadets scored 2 in the third and 2 in the sixth. They led 5-2. Benilde cut into that three-run hole in the bottom of the sixth. Colin McGee out at 1, but Anderson crosses home. It was 5-3 heading into the seventh. Both Koski and Ford Stone got on base with singles. Then with one out, it's Gearin delivering again. Base knock back up the middle. Koski scores. Red Knights down just 1. Next batter up, Anderson faced with a 2-2 pitch, and the senior comes through in a big way. A walk-off two-run single completes the comeback. Benilde wins a thriller and advances to the Class 3A state semifinals.
I felt like the Lion King scene where all of the bulls are running through the valley. They were all sprinting at me. I didn't know what to do. A lot of screaming faces, and I just enjoyed the moment and felt my teammates wrap around me, and that was the feeling I wanted. I wanted to be there for my teammates and pick them up, and I wanted them to have my back as well.
In Chaska, Chaz Moots, CCX Sports.
Totino-Grace baseball is making their first trip to state since 2012. The Eagles earned the number 4 seed and played in the final game of the night Thursday in Chaska.
The Eagles facing off against Little Falls in the Class 3A state quarterfinal round. Tommy Highfort was dealing early on. He gets a strikeout to end the top of the third. It was scoreless heading into the bottom of the fourth, but with one swing of the bat, Matthew Gallitzer changes that. The senior crushes this pitch to left center. His solo home run puts the Eagles in front, 1-0. In the fifth, TG has bases juice. Gallitzer is at the plate again, and Gallitzer comes through once more, this time on a grounder to short. Joey Walensky can't handle it. Everyone is safe, and another run scores for the Eagles. Little Falls had an opportunity in the sixth, runners on the corners, but Highfort gets out of the jam. He pitched a complete game shutout, 6 strikeouts and just 7 hits allowed. Totino-Grace wins 4-0. They'll face Benilde-St. Margaret's in the state semifinals. In Chaska, Chaz Moots, CCX Sports.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.